Kelly Show, final hour of the Jesse Kelly Show. Remember, if you missed any part of it, or if you want to send me your love, your hate, your death threats, you can email me or download the podcast or do both those things. You can email me, Jesse at jessekellyshow.com. You can download the podcast on iHeart, Google, Spotify, and iTunes. Chris, you love that Led Zeppelin song that you just played there. Why don't you missed some Led Zeppelin songs that I feel like you should be playing. Rock and roll should be played. When the Levee Breaks, it's in there. I don't remember you playing When the Levee Breaks. No one talks about I don't remember it, Chris. I don't remember it. I think you're a liar. Anyway, it's the final hour before Thanksgiving starts. We can focus on Ask Dr. Jesse questions, or we can focus on these people.
This attack also comes amidst a rise in violent rhetoric and threats against the LGBTQI plus people across the.
Yeah, I'm done with that. Keep boycotting, keep preaching, the guy said sports. He said it's working. The headline was, despite diminishing returns, NBA wants $72 billion for your broadcast rights. I say all the time, put your money where your morals are. Put your money where your morals are. We have, quite frankly, been dreadful at this on the right, myself included. I am not pointing fingers at you. We have got to be better about boycotting and walking away and not consuming entertainment that hates us. We talked about the NHL going pro-trans yesterday. NFL, NBA, these leagues, they cannot stand if everyone on the right would just walk away and punish them. There's not enough Chinese money out there. There's not. There's not enough money for them to survive without the American right. That is part of, as I become more and more aware of that, that's part of my frustration, not with you, but with just the way things are. We have the power. Collectively, we have the power to really, really punish these filthy communist companies, and we don't do it. We don't. You still buying Oreos? I don't buy Oreos anymore, and I live and die for Oreos. Thank you, by the way, for your Oreo recommendations, your backup plan Oreo recommendations. You email and call in. I love that stuff. We go buy that stuff, I should note. But I haven't bought Oreos since the day my son came back when I told him to go grab some Oreos. We were in the grocery store. And he said, Dad, why do they have rainbow flags all over them? No, I'm done. Bye. But you realize that Oreo, I think it's owned by Nabisco, by the way, but you realize they would collapse. The company would go bankrupt if every person on the right would just say, nope, I can live without Oreos. Gone. Walk away. They would collapse on it. It would implode on itself. But we don't want to feel pain. We want to be political. We want our side to win right up to the point it gets inconvenient. Right up to the point where it makes us uncomfortable. And the sad part is I'm not talking to you. You're listening to the Jesse Kelly Show. I have no doubt you're doing fine or at least making improvements. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect either. I'm still messing up too. But I'm talking about the kind of relatively, he's political, he's into it. But no, dude, I love Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I have to buy Ben & Jerry's. I don't know that there's a worse company in the United States of America than Ben & Jerry's. I don't know if there's a company that hates you more than Ben & Jerry's hates you. You really couldn't find a different brand of ice cream? And again, I know there's some ways you don't have options. You know what I have down here in Texas? I have no grocery store options. I hate it. There are two major grocery stores in Texas. There's H-E-B and there's Kroger. H-E-B, not only do they have all the Pride bags and paraphernalia in there every single Pride month, H-E-B sponsored a child drag show. Okay, I'm never going to H-E-B. I'm going to Kroger. Kroger comes out, vaccine mandate, and they're paying for their workers who want to travel to have an abortion. Okay, I'm not going to H-E-B and Kroger. There's a local grocery store. There's a smaller local grocery store in my area. I'm going to go there. Found out they're a hardcore communist family. I can't put my money where my morals are when I grocery shop. If I want to get a box of Kraft Mac on the way home, I have to buy it from a commie. You have situations like that too. We've talked about cars. For some reason, this industry is just a disaster. Go find me the car company that doesn't hate you and your values. It doesn't. Yeah, Chris just said it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I know, because I told you we went looking for the wife because her SUV's a 2014 and it's starting to get a little banged up. And so I was trying to put my money where my morals are. And we're sitting there and, hey, let's see what this company has to say. Well, what about Ford? Or what about Toyota? What about... They all suck. Oh, they all suck. So there are ways that we're stuck. When we've allowed them to take over so much of the culture, there's just certain ways we're stuck. But man, entertainment, we're not stuck. We don't have to watch NFL on Sunday. You don't have to watch the NHL. I know you feel like you do, but you don't. You don't have to take your kids to the newest movie. And believe me when I tell you, I'm telling you things that hurt me too. You know how much of a NFL freak I was for years, hours, 8, 9 hours on a Sunday. I'd sit and watch football, fantasy football, you name it, all of it. I live for the movies. I'm the guy, when I'm out of town, if I have to do something for radio, go out and see an affiliate or something like that, whenever I'm done hanging with everybody, I'll go to a movie by myself. I love movies, and I'm the dude sitting in the back by himself, just enjoying a movie. Plus, if the wife isn't there, I actually get to hear the movie, and she won't be talking the whole time. But anyway, I'll go to movies by myself. Jesse, you often call the U.S. a late-stage republic. It almost sounds as though it was inevitable. Do you think it was always inevitable that we end up where we are now? I do agree. I'm asking for your thoughts on why you think that's true or false. Yes, it was inevitable. This is why, I know this is heavy, but this is why as we are late stage Republicans, as I watch the country I love deteriorate into what it's becoming so quickly. And as you watch that, it does bum me out. But one of the things, in a small way, that does make me feel better, it really does, is it was always going to go this way. It was always going to go this way because that's how powerful nations end. Find me the powerful nation throughout history that ended well. It doesn't end well. It ends bad. The nation gets rich, and then the nation gets complacent and bored, too decadent, too much money, too much time on their hands, too much alcohol, too much drugs, not enough family time, not enough focus on the moral foundings of the nation, right? And I don't preach at anybody, I never would, but the Romans would talk about this, how we're losing our moral way, and my goodness, we become, everybody's a prostitute now. What are we doing? They would lament where they got because they understood that's a part of a country, but that's how it always goes. It was always going to go that way for us, too. That doesn't mean we stop fighting and say, well, forget it, we're finished, because we can sure prolong the length of our nation and at least our area. Probably can't save the country, but you can definitely save your area at this point in time. But it was always inevitable. That's how it goes in history. We've talked about it before, but it's a great example. Look at the Mongols. The Mongols were a freaking tribe on the Asian steppe. Now, they were tough as nails, but they were just a tribe. They used to eat mice. They'd eat raw guts of animals when they killed it. Just a very rough tribe. And then Genghis Khan comes along and figures out, wow, if I could actually organize all these tough guys, we could be a really good fighting force. And it turns out they were basically the best fighting force ever. And they stormed through everybody. The Chinese, the gigantic Muslim empire, that they just stormed through everyone and with relative ease. Now, I know they had some struggles with the Chinese, but with relative ease, they just dominated everyone. European knights, Russia, they just kicked everyone's butts. And soon, they're in silks. They're in Chinese palaces in silks, eating the finest foods in the world. And then, a couple generations later, right back to the Asian steppe tribe because they got too rich and too decadent, and it all just kind of came apart on them. It went that way for the Persians, went that way for the Romans. That's the way it goes. Dude, you realize how big the British Empire used to be? What's Britain now? What's Britain now? Yeah, Chris brought up Portugal. People make fun of Portugal, myself included, because who even mentions Portugal in the course of a day? Nobody does. It's a totally insignificant country on the world stage now. I don't have any issue with Portugal. I actually do want to visit. But as far as world events go, Portugal is never even mentioned. It's an afterthought. Portugal used to rule like half the world. And now they're just nothing. It's the way it was always going to go. It's the way it goes. Things rise and things fall. It's just the way it is. Now, let's do some good along the way, though, huh? All we can do is do some good along the way. What good did you do today? What good did I do today? I'll tell you, I don't think I did any good today. I can't think of anything. Maybe I need to go ahead and dial up preborn myself, because every single time you give $28 to preborn, that $28 allows preborn to give that woman a free ultrasound. And when she hears that baby's heartbeat, it's from God. She chooses life. The majority of the time, she chooses life. Your $28 to preborn, it's not a charitable donation. Yes, it's tax deductible. I'm happy about that, right? Give them $100,000 if you can. Fine. It's all tax deductible. But it's not about the tax deduction, is it? It's about life. It's about saving the life of a baby and giving it a chance at the life it's supposed to have. Go to preborn.com/Jesse and let's continue our quest for 5,000 lives. Preborn.com/Jesse, all right? Or dial pound 250, say baby. Sponsored by Preborn.
The Jesse Kelly Show
I like it.
returns next.
It is the Jesse Kelly Show on a Wednesday. I'm having a blast. Less of a blast after I hear Klaus Schwab, though, talking about how we all need to kind of adopt this Chinese system of control and the structural changes.
On the G20, you were there meeting some of the leaders as well. Professor Schwab, what do you make of the result?
I think it's positive. It's through the fact that everybody agreed about the statement, which we haven't had the last years. Now the base has been formed, but we have to go one step further. We have to have a strategic mood. We have to construct the world of tomorrow. It's a systemic transformation of the world. So we have to define how the world should look like.
Yeah. I don't think you or I are going to enjoy what he envisions the world should look like. No. And just a heads up, it involves a whole lot more power and control. I'll play that other stuff for you again in a little bit. Let's get back to some Ask Dr. Jesse questions, because we're not going to speak again until Monday. Great Oracle. I humbly come to you with a personal, controversial query that my 8-ball cannot give me a definitive answer on. I'm a 5-foot-tall, mid-30s dime, if I do say so myself. Because I'm so small, I have a closet full of platform heels. I have been out with a great guy who I truly like a few times. He's 5'5"-ish. He says, I'm guesstimating here. What do I do about my shoe situation? Do men on the shorter side feel as anti-flat as you? I realize you cannot speak from personal experience due to your Adonis-like stature, but perhaps you could poll the masses if needed. Thank you in advance for your wisdom. Listen, lady, listen. First and foremost, let's get something out of the way here. Dimes, they don't need to be linking up with the shorts. The shorts are for what, Chris? The shorts, those guys get the leftovers. The dimes belong to the tall guys. And I'm kidding. Fine. No, I'm glad you like him. Keep going out with your guy. I think dudes get self-conscious about being short. They do. They do get self-conscious about, Michael, you're not short. What are you saying you don't for? You're not short. You're like 5'10" or something like that. Now, that's not like a man size, but it's not that short. Anyway, but dudes do get self-conscious about being short. That's just how we're made. And women don't. One thing you can't do, you can't go flats. No matter what, you can't go flats. Now, remember, when I say you can't go flats, I mean the ballet flats. I don't know what happened in this society that absolutely repulsive thing became somehow something women think is acceptable to wear in public and in the office. But ladies, they look terrible. And I know your girlfriends who want to steal your boyfriend tell you they look good. They look so cute. You should definitely wear that on a date. They're lying to you. They want to steal your boyfriend. They look awful. Do you want your boyfriend wearing sweatpants and a wife beater when you go out to eat? Oh, you don't? Then put away the flats and put on some decent freaking shoes. All right? Now, they don't have to be high heels, right? Chicks look good in tennis shoes. They look good in boots. The dimes are dimes. Just get the flats away. So here's what I suggest. Avoid the platforms, the super high stilettos, and avoid the flats. Go with a boot, a cowboy boot. Now, I understand the show is on coast to coast. We're on in New York. We're on in Minnesota. We're on in Florida. We're on in Texas. We're on in LA. We're on in Washington. We're on everywhere in between. I realize it's a national show. So you ladies who are not in an area where women wear cowboy boots, you all need to understand something. Women in cowboy boots is so smoking hot. I think I've got the wife like 5 pairs of cowboy boots at this point in time. Wear cowboy boots. It solves all your problems. What, Chris? You don't agree? You're not, no? What's wrong with you? You don't like the chicks in, what? You grew up in Texas. It's normal for you? Yeah, it's normal. It's normally hot. What are you Jeez, Chris. Oh, you know what? Hey, I know right now in the Chalk Factory that you're listening to the sound of my voice because they listen live to the Jesse Kelly Show in the Chalk Factory while they make the male vitality stacks. So, hey, boys, do me a favor. Get a hold of management. We need apparently an extra male vitality stack sent to the studio for Chris because Chris is not that into chicks in cowboy boots, and that can only mean we have a low T alert here in the studio. So if you wouldn't mind, put together a male vitality stack, at least 90 days worth of Chris. We'll check in with him every month and see as soon as he gets his T levels back up, he'll be back to digging chicks in cowboy boots. I promise. Get a male vitality stack. You know what, Chris? We'll get you a subscription because they're 35% off right now with the promo code Jesse. So you have to go to choq.com, Chris. Promo code Jesse. 20% increase in your testosterone in 90 days. You're not going to believe how much better those chicks in cowboy boots look after 90 days once your T levels get back up. Ladies, if maybe you're too scared to wear cowboy boots like the dime you are. And don't say it, Jesse, I'm 50. Oh, 50-year-old women can be dimes. No. You're all dimes. You go get yourself a female vitality stack. Feel better about yourself, more energy, work out harder. It's better. choq.com, promo code Jesse, all right? Jesse, I was wondering if you could play devil's advocate and pretend you're one of the commie dirtbags. I will love you guys, by the way. I often wonder what their response would be to the following question. Please name 3 things this administration has done to make your life better. Thanks for doing your show. I live in a small red pocket in the mountains of East San Diego. Well, I think I understand what you're saying. Why would you vote for these people again? They didn't make your life better. They made your life worse. They made your life worse. They made your life worse. There are 2 things at play here. You know how we talk all the time about changing our mindset and how we have to understand what we're up against? Remember this about communists. Even if they're not thrilled, and they're never thrilled because communists are naturally miserable. That's what makes them communists. You've never seen a happy, pleasant communist. That's not who they are. But even if they're not thrilled with Joe Biden, even if they're not thrilled with Dome, they've managed to convince each other they are up against Nazis and white supremacists. Now, who would you bring into your camp to be an ally with if you were fighting Nazis and white supremacists? Don't discount how much they hate you and how much of a driver that is for them. They hate you, and that is a huge part of why they do what they do. It's not necessarily a result of proven results from the Biden administration. That's why they went so hard at the threats to democracy thing leading up to the midterm. That does work as a motivator for them. But there is one more thing we should understand, and this is a hard one to accept. I'll explain in a second.
Maybe more than enough. I can't talk. Only thing about me.
It is the Jesse Kelly Show. Remember, you can email me your love, your hate, your death threats, your Ask Dr. Jesse questions for next week. Email those into jesse@jessekellyshow.com, jesse@jessekellyshow.com.
Ay, 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 ay. I am the frito bandido. Hey, I like Fritos corn chips. I love them, I do. I want Fritos corn chips. I'll get them from you. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, I am the frito bandito. Give me fritos, corn chips, and I'll be your friend. The frito bandito, you must not offend. Munch, munch, munch a bunch of fritos.
One more thing, because the guy asked, please, if you could force a communist basically to name 3 things this administration has done to make your life better. One, I said you have to understand how much they hate you. That is a huge motivator for them. They don't necessarily vote for pro-Biden. They're voting against you. That's why the communists are better. That's why they focus so much on labeling you, and they're just better at it. You know, we on the right, we still do. Well, he's liberal. They're biased. What are they saying? He's a Nazi white supremacist trying to end America, because they understand they need to motivate their side. But there's another part of it. One of the reasons these people vote this way over and over and over and over and over again, voting against their best interest, this is a human nature thing. It is human nature to continue to vote the way you've always voted, even if things start to go bad quickly. Quickly. Wrap your mind around this. The black community in America, under Donald Trump got elected president. Donald Trump promptly deregulated the economy, and we had record low black unemployment. Black communities had a rough go of it in this country, record low black unemployment, and Trump campaigned endlessly to the black community. He was always having a new black summit and a new black this and a new black that, and we got to let people out of prison and record low unemployment. You couldn't possibly do more for the black community than Donald Trump did when he was president. Did way more than Obama did at 8 years. And you know how he was rewarded for that? Well north of 90% of black people went right out and voted for Joe Biden again in 2020. Now, I'm not blasting black people. That's human nature. That's how humans vote over and over and over again. Think about these horrible cities. Think about the condition of America's cities. Think about, think about New York. Think about New York City. It's not like New York City got bad under Eric Adams. New York City got really bad under Bill de Blasio. Really, really, really bad. And it got so bad that people were so mad about all the filth and the drug use and the crime and the trash piling up that they went out and promptly voted for a Democrat again by, I think, 70%. I think it's 70% of the people voted Democrat. It's something like that. We just had a midterm election. Speaking of New York, let's go to New York State. Kathy Hochul just beat Lee Zeldin. I know it was way closer than it should have been for New York, but she beat the doors off him if you look back on it. She won by 7 points. That's a trouncing. That means people have experienced the taxes and fees and the crime and the filth in every other part of New York over and over and over and over and over again. They've experienced this. Democrats, 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 and they go right out to the polls and they vote Democrat again. Because we tend to be logical thinkers on the right. I want this, he'll do this, so I'll do this. We have linear thinking in that way. I voted for, look, I gave you my linear thinking before. I voted for Greg Abbott last time. Then Greg Abbott locked down the state of Texas and became a tyrant just like every other despicable monster. Therefore, I didn't vote for Greg Abbott this time. I didn't vote for Beto either, but he didn't get my vote. That's linear thinking. You can disagree with that. That's fine, but that's linear thinking. I had a reason for why I did what I did. Because that's how you vote, and because that's how I vote, we project those values onto other people, and we think that that's how they vote, and that's not how human beings vote. A lot of them. Some people will vote that way. Many of them will not. Look at the midterms. I hate to bring this up again because it's kind of a sore subject, but how did we not have a red wave after all the endless disaster that has been Joe Biden? Afghanistan alone and the international embarrassment of Afghanistan and the 13 of our warriors killed, and then we murdered 10 Afghanis for no reason whatsoever. And the Afghanistan alone should have resulted in Joe Biden's party being completely wiped out in the midterms. I didn't even bring up inflation. Forget about inflation for a minute. Afghanistan alone should have been it. Then you throw in inflation, gas prices, Biden making a jackass of himself on the world stage over and over and over and over again. Dome just can't stop being embarrassing.
Well, as the president said, he intends to run, and if he does, I will be running with him. And I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done over these past 2 years.
Embarrassment after embarrassment after embarrassment. The destruction of our military, the open destruction of our military as it becomes the LGBTQ military. Open destruction of it. And America didn't go out and vote against it. Not overwhelmingly. Oh, don't get me wrong. The country went redder. There were 1 million more Republican votes than Democrat votes, so we won the popular vote for once. It got redder, but it didn't go blood red. People went out after 2 years of Joe Biden and they said, man, I want more. I'm going to do that again. That's because they don't vote with linear thinking. They don't vote with logical thinking like you do, like I do. They just don't do that. Oh, wise one. My wife and I are currently debating on traveling the country working. She's a traveling contract nurse and is able to make upwards of $250,000 a year, but is not guaranteed due to the chaos of the current healthcare industry. And I can do just about anything construction and remodel related. We currently have no children. My question is, do I give up the stability of my $90,000 a year DOD civilian job for what I imagine would be the experience of a lifetime? Or should I be concerned about the coming pain of which you speak and hang on to all the stability I can? Josh is his name. Josh, quit your job and get out on the road with your wife, brother. You only live one time. Live your life from your deathbed. That's what I do. One day you're going to die, Josh. You'll be on your deathbed and you're going to be surrounded by your loved ones. On that day, in that moment, when you look back at this moment, are you going to say, man, I am glad I played it safe, stayed at the DOD? Or are you going to look over at your wife and smile about the time your car broke down in Nebraska and you had to sleep in it overnight? Even if it turns out to be a disaster, and believe me, I have had so many of those are the fondest memories. You know about every disaster I've gone through. I've told you before about the time we were in a cheap extended stay hotel, living in one in San Antonio, Texas. We didn't have any money to go out to eat. On Thursday nights, they had pizza and beer night, and we'd go downstairs with our kids and feed them a slice of pizza, and we'd have a couple beers because they were free, living in an extended stay hotel with 2 kids under the age of 4. Total disaster, right? When we bring that up now, we don't bring it up and think, man, that sucked. We bring it up, and we can't stop smiling. Yeah, we can't stop. Yeah, that's right. The Mexican broken leg story. It's true. It's true. Even if it ends up bad and everything goes down, still go out there and have an adventure with your bride. Go see the States. Go have problems. Have successes too. Get out and go die with some stories. I'm going to die one day. And if I died right now, if I fall over on the microphone at 41, daggone do I have some stories. I lived my 41 years to the max. Disaster or no disaster, I went all in. Go do likewise. You won't regret it. All right? You know what? I have one final word on that, and then we're going to get to the rest of these emails. First, do make sure when you get out on the road that you bring along your Giza Dream Sheets, because a good night's sleep can be difficult on the road, Chris. It can be. It can be hard to have a good night's sleep. But when at the end of every day, you get to look forward to slipping in between the most comfortable sheets in the history of mankind, life gets a little bit better. And buy them now because you're about to quit a $90,000 a year job. And right now, Giza Dream Sheets are at their lowest price ever. So stock up on a couple sets. Also, it's Christmas time. These are great gifts. Go get them. Giza Dream Sheets, the best sheets ever. MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. Use the promo code Jesse. That's what gets you their lowest price ever. MyPillow.com, promo code Jesse. Or call 800-845-0544. You know I travel with my MyPillow travel pillow. You know they have travel pillows and I travel with. Honestly, everything they make is just so stupid cool. Giza Dream Sheets. MyPillow.com, promo code Jesse. What, Chris? We can make jokes. It's fine.
You got that right. The Jesse Kelly Show.
It is the Jesse Kelly Show. I hope you do have a wonderful Thanksgiving with family tomorrow and friends. Enjoy yourself. take that phone and all that politics and leave it at home. Or put it in your purse, ladies. Or turn it off and put it in your pocket, fellas. Just leave it away and go soak up time with family and friends, right? Family, community, that's the stuff that actually matters. Let's set aside all this filth. We'll tackle the filth again on Monday when I get back, all right? Or Friday, James T's sitting in for me. So you hear James T on Friday. He's always a hit when he fills in. Dear Four-Eyed Author. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Chris. You know what? I might as well just tell everybody. You know, it was about a year ago now that I finally sucked it up. Maybe it was 2 years ago that I finally realized my eyes are going bad. I can't clearly see the oven clock anymore if I'm 15 feet away in the kitchen. So I need to go get my eyes checked. And they had been going bad for a few years beforehand. So, I went and got my eyes checked. And they gave me glasses, prescription glasses. Shut up, Chris. I'm not a nerd. Now, I don't need them, like for now. I don't do the show in them or whatnot. But if I'm looking at things far away, like they gave me a prescription sunglasses for when I drive, and I couldn't believe what they charge for those things. Anyway, prescription sunglasses and prescription glasses for when I watch TV. The screen can be a little bit... Shut up, Chris. The screen can be a little bit blurry when I watch my documentaries and such. I pulled out my prescription sunglasses the other day. I went up to Fredericksburg with my wife for the weekend and a couple other couples. They had all those like wine tours, which sucked. But anyway, they had wine tours, which sucked. But Fredericksburg's cool. They have all kinds of live music and restaurants and stuff like that. Anyway, I took her up for the weekend, so I had to drive. It's about 4 hours away from here. I pull my prescription sunglasses out, and I put them on my face. And these glasses cost like $400. And the lens falls out because the screw fell out. And no, it's not that I can't fix it, Chris. What it did was cement something for me. I need to get contacts. I don't want contacts. And the lady, the eye doctor chick last time told me to. She's like, man, maybe you should just get contacts. And I don't want contacts. What, Michael? LASIK? That stuff scares me. I don't want people shooting lasers into my eyeballs. Does it? I don't want to be awake when they do it either. I want some powerful drugs. Call me Hunter Biden. You better juice me up to something. I want to go out. I don't want, and plus it's expensive, I'm sure. I bet you it costs a fortune to do LASIK. So I don't want to pay any more money for my sunglasses. I don't like that I'm getting old and my hair is falling out and my eyes are going bad. And I don't want to wear stupid contact lenses and put things in and out of my eyes all the time. This body's just going to crap. I forget what I was on. I was talking about something else, Chris. But now what? I forget what it was. It's fine. You know what? I need contact lenses for when I practice shooting. I didn't even bring that up. When I go to the range now, I notice it when I start to get out there, especially when I get out there 20 meters, 25, 30 meters. It's not a problem yet, but, well, I should say shooting it is not a problem. Seeing exactly where I hit, most definitely a problem. I have to go hit the button at the range and boop, boop, boop. It's part of the reason I've practiced with Mantis X now more than I go to the range. The Mantis X is nice because you can practice in the comfort of your home, right? I don't have to leave the air conditioning. I don't have to leave the heat. I don't have to spend money on ammo. You dry fire practice in your home and you get feedback. But also, I don't have to deal with the embarrassment of not being able to see my shot groupings anymore. The only person who can see is me and Mantis. Don't tell anybody, Mantis. Anyway, go get yourself a Mantis X. You can practice in the comfort of your home. They're really cool, man. They're very, very cool. Great gift giver right there. Ladies, you got a man in your life who shoots, he would enjoy this. He would enjoy it a lot. Fellas, you got a woman who shoots, she'd enjoy it. Go to mantisx.com, all right? Mantisx.com. What year do you think the U.S. peaked? I think it may be the late 90s or early 2000s. What say you? Oh, no. It was way before that. I would say just before World War I. We should have never got involved in World War I. And getting involved in World War I really screwed up so much and changed everything for us. It really torpedoed us into, I mean, they call it the Roaring 20s, but World War I, so much of it set us up for the Great Depression, which brought us FDR, which was a disaster. It led to World War II. I'd say right before World War I, we were peaking, and then we gave women the right to vote, and everything went down from there. What, Chris? We can make jokes. Jesse, the menu whisperer. What the HE double hockey sticks does Maria Salazar say in the first few seconds of the greatest soundbite ever? Says freedom is not free. I don't know. Chris, did we miss something here? Hold on. Let's figure this out.
And do you support a no-fly zone in Ukraine?
I support everything that has to do with...
Yeah, I think she's trying to say absolutely. Just the words aren't coming out right.
And do you support a no-fly zone in Ukraine?
I support everything that has...
Yeah, she just had no idea, obviously, how to answer the question. That's why she answered the rest of the question like this. She just didn't know anything about the critical information she should know.
And do you support a no-fly zone in Ukraine?
I support everything that has to do with punishing Vladimir Putin and helping the Ukrainians.
Wouldn't that mean direct conventional warfare with Russia?
I don't know what it will mean, but freedom is not free.
You don't know what a no-fly zone will mean. If you have to shoot down Russian planes, I mean.
Of course.
So conventional war with Russia.
Listen, thank you.
Jesse, have you ever heard back from the investigators from the break-in to your car and the stolen money? Nope, not a word. You remember I went to the bank that one day. I never carry cash. I never go to the bank. I never go to the bank and pull cash out. But they ran a heist on me. I went to the bank, pulled out cash because I had to go back and give it to the wife for something. And they broke in my car, jacked my cash. Everything was on camera, keep in mind, because it happened in the bank parking lot where they saw the guy. So they knew he followed me from the bank. They had all this on camera, himself, his car, his everything else. I came back. I got the cop's case number. The cop gave me his card, everything else, case number, everything. I waited a week or so, put in a call to the cop. Wasn't there, was out, left him a real polite message. Hey, it's just checking in. I got case number this, case number that, just checking in, wanted to see what was going on. Never got a call back. You cops who listen to the show, man, that's the kind of crap that sours people, I'm telling you. That crap would have taken 5 seconds to call me back. Say, hey, we haven't got him. Hey, I got him. Instead, you just hit delete. Thanks, fellas. Jesse, you were right. As soon as the midterms are over, Biden says he's running again. They all of a sudden start reporting on the Hunter Biden laptop. The Oracle is always right. What, Chris? Well, yeah, we don't have to bring up election night, Chris, okay? So we didn't win quite 40 seats. We fell just short of 40 seats. All right, hey, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. No matter what you're going through in your life, I promise you have things to be thankful for. You have blessings. If you got a shirt on your back and you wake up tomorrow morning, you have blessings. Take at least 5 minutes tomorrow and count them, huh? Count them. Say a prayer. Say thank you. We all have blessings, all right? Celebrate Thanksgiving. Put your phone away and enjoy yourself. That's all.